Congratulations! Your loan is conditionally approved. A SunWest loan originator is always on top of her approvals, no matter where she is. Break free with Morgan.
Welcome to The Interest. I'm Mike Savino. Guild Mortgage has been one of the more aggressive companies in the mortgage industry, buying up competitors as the market shrinks. But as Guild continues to grow, they'll move into their next phase under new leadership, as CEO Mary Ann McGarry is retiring after nearly 40 years with the company. McGarry joined Guild in 1984 and became CEO in 2007. During her time, Guild grew from a regional lender based in San Diego to a national company with more than 300 branches in 49 states and Washington, D.C. McGarry will step down at the end of June, but she'll be replaced by a familiar face, company president Terry Schmidt, who was McGarry's first hire. Schmidt says Guild will continue to have the relationships with and drive business back to loan officers. She says Mary Ann was always a champion in this evolution and encouraged input from every corner of the company. Everyone felt like they had a voice. In recent months, Guild has been growing its footprint. Just last week, the company announced the purchase of Cherry Creek Mortgage. Guild also acquired Legacy Mortgage last month and Atlanta Mortgage back in December. Meanwhile, former Sprout Mortgage president Shea Palante has landed at Arc Home. The new job comes 8 months after Sprout abruptly closed its doors. Palante is now Chief Production Officer for Arc, running the non-QM lender's TPO origination channels. And according to his LinkedIn profile, this is Palante's first job since Sprout closed. If you remember back in July, Palante told more than 400 Sprout employees during a conference call that the company was shutting down immediately. And we later learned from sources that former CEO Michael Strauss had a funding deal in place to keep Sprout going, but canceled the deal at the last minute. Prior to Sprout, Palante also worked for Civic Financial Services and BSI Financial Services. Coming up, spring weather may not warm up the housing market as much as we hope.
Tired of turndowns and wasting 25 basis points or more on slow and manual loan processing? Divorce your processor and break free with Morgan Chat AI. There are no bad deals or tough loans, only deserving families that need AI-driven fast and accurate service. We treat every client fairly and with empathy. AI that understands how you feel.
I am Morgan. I get you.
Welcome back. We're all waiting for home buying to pick back up, but unfortunately, we may not get the boost that we're looking for this spring. First American Financial Corporation says that early signs show a slow start to the spring buying season. Purchase applications in February were down 30% from where they were in 2019, back before the pandemic. The primary problem is the ongoing lack of inventory, or as Chief Economist Mark Fleming puts it, you can't buy what's not for sale. Existing home sales did rebound in February, ending a 12-month slide, the National Association of Realtors says. But even with the bump, sales were still down nearly 23% from a year ago. In other news, Asian American home buyers say that they're often overlooked even when we're talking about other underserved borrowers. Yet they face stereotypes that hurt those who need help getting a loan. And now lawmakers in some states are proposing laws that would bar certain Asian Americans from owning a home at all. We find out more in the latest episode of Gated Communities.
We as an organization continue to talk about this feeling of this perpetual foreigner, that we never really belong.
Asian American families have been fighting for centuries for their place in the U.S., whether it's laws banning certain groups from entering or the Japanese American internment camps during World War II. Now in Texas, a proposed bill seeks to ban Chinese and North Korean nationals from owning a home.
We are in a time where really the anti-Asian sentiment has quite escalated into this whole, no, we're not even going to allow you to buy property.
Asian Real Estate Association of America CEO Hope Atwell says that Asian Americans struggle all over the country when it comes to getting a home. For starters, many people stereotype Asian Americans.
I think we've often been stereotyped as being very successful and not needing any help.
But Asian cultures are very different, and they all have their own distinct languages. If you want to have success with Asian borrowers, you have to get to know who lives in your communities and what their customs are.
The idea of talking about money is sort of like taboo.
Studies have also found Asian households are the victim of appraisal bias. It may not be as drastic as those cases involving black families, but it still impacts Asian households' ability to cash in on their home value.
That's not equity. That is injustice, right?
You can hear more from Atwell on Gated Communities, the Mortgage News Network's podcast on working with underserved communities. For the Mortgage News Network, I'm Mike Savino.
Join us at Mortgage Star, where women come together to celebrate and raise each other up while creating connections that will last a lifetime. Attend Mortgage Star in New Orleans on July 12th and stay an extra day to join us at the Ultimate Mortgage Expo.
Welcome back. Here's what else is interesting today. HUD is undoing a 2020 rule on discriminatory effects and will instead rely on a policy that was put in place back in 2013. The original point of the 2013 rule was to take decisions from Fair Housing Act cases and turn them into law. But HUD says that changes that were made in 2020 made things too complicated. But you won't have to do anything different. The 2020 rule never actually went into effect after a judge ordered that the policy change be put on hold. For more on these and all of today's top stories, go to mortgagenewsnetwork.com.